Hello, everybody. This is Mr. Storm, and this week we're going to focus on creating a logo for our company. Now, there are many ways to do this, but I want to show you the way that professionals actually will develop their logos. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you the software that professionals will use. Usually, professionals are using software such as Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, but that costs quite a bit of money. If you happen to have an Illustrator at home, great, you can use that if you're familiar with that software. But I have found some software online that we can use for free that will do everything we need it to do and be, I don't know, a good equivalent to Adobe Illustrator. Now, when we're thinking about creating new logos, we want to make sure that we create a logo that's scalable, something that can grow as big or as small as we want it to, something that we can easily change and modify as we go. We want to make sure that our logo can be adaptable to all the different types of branding and advertisements that we want to put together. So what we want to do is we want to create a vector image. Now I found this piece of software. It's called Vector, VECTR, and we can actually use the online version to manipulate or create our graphics in the browser, so we don't have to download anything, and that's pretty handy. Now, you may want to sign up or log in so that you can save your work and continuously work on this file. I'm going to very quickly throw one together, so I'm not going to worry about saving my work today, but you may want to. Um, what a vector image is it's an image that is not drawn using pixels, right? As opposed to a raster image. Raster images are photographs or things that you would, if you draw in Photoshop or in Microsoft Paint or something like that, Google Drawings, that's going to be a raster image, meaning that image is made up of pixels. So as you zoom in on that picture or make it bigger, those pixels then get bigger and it makes the image blurry. With a vector image, it's not drawn with pixels, it's drawn with math. So as we're creating the image, it's going to be using math to determine what the lines are, what the colors are, and everything else. The benefit to that is we can scale it up as large as we want, and it will consistently redraw itself using that algorithm, using that math, so that it's always sharp, it's always crisp, and we don't lose any quality. Okay, so at this point, you already have a pretty good idea of your brand, of your business. You already have an idea of what you want to produce as a product and what your company is going to be, and their attitudes and and so on and so forth. Um, I am going to have to do this assignment for a brand, and I've got to come up with what that brand is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit. I actually have my own company, my own online business. I run a publishing company for independent authors online. I publish ebooks and print books for independent authors, and my company's name is Rectangle Press. And I already have a logo that I designed for them for that company. And I'm going to kind of reproduce the logo here so you can kind of see the process I went through to design my logo. And while I'm doing that, I'll be teaching you how to use this software so that you can create your own logo. All right, over here, pages and layers. We're not going to worry about those today. Our logo is going to be very simple, so we're not going to need to worry about those options here. But what we are going to pay attention to are these options here. We have shapes, rectangle, rounded rectangle, ellipse, the pen tool, which is very helpful, the pencil tool, some text, and we can upload images to import into our logo. Um, I want you to draw your logo yourself, even if you're not a good artist. You'll see in just a minute that my logo requires no special art skills whatsoever to create, and yours doesn't have to either, right? You don't have to be a good artist to do a good logo. You just have to make it simple and recognizable so that when people see it, they automatically can understand that that is your logo and that's associated with your brand. So, when I was designing the logo for Rectangle Press, I had the idea that because the name is Rectangle Press, I want to use rectangles in the logo, but I also want to kind of make it elegant. I want it to be a more high class idea. You know, a lot of publishing companies, they do a lot of books in their logos. They do a lot of flowery messages and stuff like that. And I wanted to kind of set myself apart from the market by trying to be a higher class company. So I was thinking logos, I was thinking high class, and kind of this is what I came up with. So I grabbed a rectangle and I started just to basically draw a square. Now, that's a gross color. I don't like that color, so I'm going to change the color to actually white background, and I'm going to set it a really dark border, and I'm going to actually make that border really, really thick. Really thick. Okay. And this is basically my rectangle now. And actually the fill is going to be no fill. If I can turn off the fill. There we go. I just checked the fill and there's no fill there. Now this is a little bit big. So once I have my rectangle here, I can actually resize it however I want. I can reshape the logo. I'm going to resize it and do something right about there. Now the nice thing about a vector image, because it's scalable, because we can make it as big or as little as we want, we actually don't have to worry about its size in relation to the overall canvas. All we have to worry about is its size in relation to the other objects on the logo itself. All right, and then what I did was I basically reproduced this rectangle and I rotated it so that it was, and it's kind of hard to see, but if you hover over the corner of these shapes, you can rotate them, right? So I rotated it so it was kind of like that. Now this isn't going to be a perfect representation of my logo, obviously. This is just me kind of redoing it here. And I just kind of made a cool, actually let's scale that up a little bit. Just made a cool logo that was, you know, interesting geometric shapes all kind of put together. Oh, there we go. To make an interesting pattern, you know. And I probably actually want to make some modifications to this, but you know what? This is fine. I'm just going to go here and I will rotate this new one so that it fills in that area. And again, this is really sloppy. I would spend more time playing around with this and making it look exactly the way I want it to, but I'm trying not to waste too much of your time by watching this video. Try not to make this video too complicated. Okay. You know, it doesn't look great, but that's okay. I'm going to select all of these and move them toward the center. That's pretty gross. But that's fine. And then, so once I got my shapes looking the way I want them to, which I definitely don't have that going on here, but once I got that to that point, I let me try to do some changes here to make it just a little bit better. Yeah, I think this is this is unsalvageable at this point. This is just too gross looking. It's all good though, you know. Sometimes it's fun to fail at things. Sometimes it's fun to make things that aren't really that good looking just because it gives you ideas. But here's a general idea of what my logo kind of looked like. It's a lot better. I'll show you when we're done here. But so, and then I had this big space in the middle that I needed to fill up. So I'd put a big RP right in the middle. Let me show you how I did that. So you just grab your text tool and you type R. I want a big R. And oh, with that selected, now I can actually change the font size, make it much, 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 much bigger. Oh, come on. Probably 150 or maybe even 175. Let's go 200. No, let's go 250. That's better. Okay. Make the color black. Oh, black border and black text. And we can change the font as well. I don't want it to be Open Sans. I want it to be something that looks really nice. Oswald is cool, so we'll grab that. And then for the P, I wanted it to be a little bit more jazzy, so I did actually yeah. So with a P, I rotated it slightly. So that it was a little more dynamic in the middle. And again, this isn't a perfect representation of of my logo, but it's close enough. So now that I have my logo finished, and again, you're going to spend a lot of time playing around with this, trying to make one that really represents your brand a whole lot. But now that I have that finished, I can actually save this as a raster image, and I can save it as a vector image as well. I can go to export, and I can see that it has, a decent there's no background here. I can export the whole page as an SVG. SVG is a raster image, or sorry, a vector image. I can change it to a PNG or a JPEG, which would be a raster image. I want you guys to give me your PNGs. Save your SVGs for later so you can scale this up. As you like, if you want to make a banner or something like that, you want your graphics to be scalable. So you'd want to save your SVG. Me, I only need your PNG. So send me your PNG. But you just select the style, your file type, and then hit print, or sorry, download, and it will actually allow you to download a picture of your logo that you just created. I'm going to open mine, and there we go. So that's my logo right there. And actually, I'm going to show you. I typed .comg. I'll show you my actual logo so you can see what I was trying to recreate. Right there, that's what I was trying to recreate. That logo right there. It's definitely not what I made, but you get the idea. It's complicated, but it's very simple and it's recognizable when people can when if they're familiar with my brand, when they see that, they automatically can see that that is something, or that is my brand, right? And so um, make your logo for your company. Remember to integrate your brand identity. What message are you trying to get across to your customers? Um, what color schemes are you using? What fonts are you going to use? You can put the name of your company underneath or to the side of your logo. I have a lot of variations of this logo with the text in different places and different color schemes and things like that. Um, play around with it. Make as many of these as you can. Come up with the best ones that you can think of, and then send them to me. Right. But remember, this assignment is for you. It's not necessarily for me. This is for you because you're going to use this logo in creating advertisements later on. You're going to use this logo in building your website to make it look as professional as you possibly can. Like when you come to this website, there's really nothing on here that tells you that this was put together by a high school teacher who's just kind of doing this on the side. This is a really nice looking website, and we're going to actually do that for your businesses next term. And in order to really be able to expand your business and, you know, make it all seem consistent, you need to have a good logo that follows your brand identity. So this week, that's what you're going to work on. I'm going to stop rambling and let you get back to it. Play around with vector. Okay. Practice, practice, practice. Come up with as many ideas or variations of your logo as you can. Um, you know, Spend some quality time on this project because once you get a good solid logo, everything else follows from that. So make sure you get your logo as perfect as you possibly can. And again, it's okay to fail. I mean, look at this thing. This is an abomination. It's okay to fail. It's okay to do something that looks not quite right. Um, Try it. If you don't like it, start over. Okay. So I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let you get back to work and let you come up with a really cool logo, the next big internationally recognized symbol for your business. Um, that's it for me. Thank you for paying attention. I'll see you next time.